Right guys, name's Kris, Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner, Guitar Tweaks. I'm not even sure in which category this video will end up being in. I will compare these two guitars, but not in a conventional A to B kind of way. I really want to know what gives these two guitars their own character. Is it the wood or is it the pickups? Both of these guitars are Gibson Custom Shop 58 reissue models. This guitar is my good old 58. I own it for over 3 years now, and it's a 2016 model. And this belongs to my very good friend Andy, who was cool enough to lend it to shoot a video and shoot it out against my guitar. So thanks Andy, in case you're watching this. The pickups, the electronics, and the bridge and the tailpiece are different, so I will swap them, otherwise the comparison would not make any sense, obviously. But before we get into it, two things. First of all, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos, and also don't forget about the description box under the video. It's full of interesting infos and gear links and timestamps and everything. Especially in the comparison video, it makes a lot of sense to jump back and forth between parts of the video. Now, as soon as someone says the word Tonewood, people go crazy on the internet, and especially on YouTube for some reason, and start writing like, it doesn't matter, whatever. I will come back to that later, but I will not address this issue right now. I will just do the comparison and we'll see if it's a thing or not. One thing that's undeniable about these two guitars sounding totally different right now is their unplugged sound. So let's check that out. I will use my Rode NTG3 condenser mic real close, like as if these were like acoustic guitars. This one has a sweeter mid-range, which I love. It sounds drier. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but this is how I would describe it. And has a little less top end and bass end, while mine has that sort of clarity on top and sort of more bottom. In case you're wondering, I've put the same strings on both of these guitars, which is the Fender Pure Nickel 10-46. And also the action is the same, the neck relief is the same, the pickup height is the same, so they're set up exactly the same way. Both of them show exactly what I've heard unplugged. So this one had, even through the amp, just less bass, less treble, and a really sweet mid-range. And this one had like all the top end, almost as sparkly as like a P90 would be, and way more bass end and a little more hollow than this one. It is time to put my pickups, electronics, and even the bridge and the tailpiece in this guitar and compare them. That's gonna be super interesting. If this guitar will turn into my guitar, I will put spectrum analyzer on screen for you to see the subtle differences. It's probably gonna be really subtle. Let's hear what changed on the guitar. I'll play something that I played earlier as well, and we'll compare those two things. And now let's compare the two guitars. I will play the same lick with this and with this, using the same pickups, same electronics, and same bridge and tailpiece. By the way, the pickups are a Seymour Duncan Antiquity Skinnerburst Joe Bonamassa Limited Edition Zebra pickup in the bridge position, and neck position is a raw vintage PF style pickup they have. Okay, now that we're done comparing the two guitars, and you probably made up your mind already anyhow, it's probably okay to let you know what I heard and how I see this. The pickups didn't change the character of the guitar at all. It has more output now, and you know, things changed for sure, absolutely. But to be honest, that mid-range kind of tone with less top end and less woolly bass, you know, on the bottom, especially on the neck pickup, that didn't change at all on this guitar. Even though I put in those electronics and pickups and everything of my guitar, I put on my brass bridge and aluminum, or aluminum if you're in the US, stop tailpiece, and none of these mattered. Well, figured that out, and that is all I have to add to this whole Tonewood is BS kind of debate. Of course, we're talking nuances, really small differences, sometimes bigger, but in many cases just small differences. And of course, it's not like wood is the only thing that matters. Not at all. If you have crappy pickups, it doesn't really matter how good the rest of the guitar is, you know, it will not be awesome. And being loud and proud about Tonewood is bullshit and blah, 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 is not very wise, because you prove yourself being ignorant of the fact that there is a difference, an audible difference, that everyone that has experience with playing guitar, or producers or guitar builders, luthiers, everyone will agree on this, that wood does change things. In many cases, you will find a mahogany bodied S guitar that sounds exactly like a normal Strat would, or the same thing, you know, the other way around, like single cut type guitar out of ash, you know, that sounds exactly like a normal Les Paul built out of mahogany and maple on top. So wood species are, you know, they sort of have their normal characteristics, but there are exceptions, quite a few. So I wouldn't be bothered that much about wood species. These are the exact pieces of wood that make this guitar sound different than my guitar. And of course, with pickups and EQ settings on your amp or wherever, you can influence it, you can change it, you can maybe even match it. It's not that huge of a difference. But if you're one of those players, you know, no compromise, all in, you know, worry about details and don't want to mess around, you just want your guitars to have a certain sound without changing anything on your amp, wood will also matter. All right, I'm really looking forward to seeing your comments, your reaction, how you see these things. I would love to see what you think, and hit subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and we will see each other very soon. And Andy, you're a real friend. Not everyone would let me do this to his guitar. Cheers.